Welcome to Penny for Your Shots, conversations and cocktails with brilliant women, the podcast where we uncork the stories and insights of exceptional female leaders from all walks of life. Our goal is to serve up wisdom, tips, and inspiration, and to support each other in rediscovering ourselves and what sets our souls on fire. We'll also share personal memories, paired with friends and a favorite beverage. I'm your host, Penny Fitzgerald, and I believe that the best stories are served up over a glass of wine or a cocktail. So grab a glass, get comfy, and let's pour ourselves into Penny for Your Shots. Laura Wayland's episode was the first interview I recorded for my podcast. I knew right away that I wanted to interview her. When I first started my wine business with Traveling Vineyard, Laura was one of those people I tried to emulate. She was savvy, enthusiastic, and really fun. I wanted what she had, and I asked her for help and insight as I built my team. Back in 2010, when Traveling Vineyard reorganized, Laura took the opportunity to buy a wine shop, and she's since built that one business into many stores and tasting rooms, including wine, beer, cigars, olive oil, and coffee. Her story's fascinating. It's filled with grit, determination, and inspiration. A resounding theme is to ask for advice and then take it. We've stayed friends through the years, and now we travel together at least every other year, if not more frequently. I'm grateful to share these experiences with her and my other wine friends, and hope you enjoy the lessons from Laura. Why don't we start out by you tell me a little bit about yourself, like where you grew up, where you live now, and anything you want us to know.
Okay, so my name is Laura Wayland. I grew up in Chesapeake, Virginia. It's kind of near Virginia Beach. Lived there almost my whole life. Then gradually was making my way down to the Outer Banks. It's only less than a couple of hours south of Virginia. But now we live in the Outer Banks in a town called Kildable Hills. I used to do Traveling Vineyard with Penny for many years. I started doing that when I was about 27 and knew nothing about wine, like nothing. I knew that I would rather drink Beringer than Sutter Weizen because that was more high end.
Excellent.
That was like the extent of my wine knowledge there. I did Traveling Vineyard for 7 years. Then the opportunity to purchase a wine and beer store about an hour away from my house became available. So we looked into that, and it was the middle of the recession. Not a great time to jump into business for most people. It was a 2010. Everyone said, banks aren't going to loan you any money. Nobody has houses that are worth or anything. So there's no collateral. Like there's just like nothing. Well, I told my husband I had an idea and I thought we should buy a wine shop. And he said, where are you going to get the money for that? And I said, from a bank. The office. And the bank actually said yes. So we did an SBA loan with the local bank here. That was a process. They had never done an SBA loan before. So I took them all the information. They looked into it. So they have to agree to loan you the money first. Then they go to basically the federal government and ask them to back your loan. So typically you would back your loan with like a house or something of value that they could pay from you if you don't pay them. When everyone's houses were not worth even what you were paying on them, which is the case for us, we didn't have any collateral. So the federal government backed our loan. And we had a 10-year loan and we bought a little wine and beer store. And so that was the kind of like beginning of everything for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
In a gist.
Yeah. How did you navigate that process? I mean, getting the loan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. So we actually had talked to the original owners, like, what do we need to do? They said, well, go talk to the bank. This is the bank we got our loan from. So we said, okay. And that's the bank that they were banking with. So we figured if they were on the up and up, then their business was doing as well as they said it was doing, even in that kind of tough economic time. Mm-hmm. We figured, that bank might be the best bet. And it was a local bank. And I think that is somewhat of the best place to start. The big banks are not as invested in your community, the smaller banks. So that's what we did. The guy said, I need you to bring me a business plan, 5-year projections, just like he said, you to go talk to SCORE, which is an organization that gives like business advice.
Uh-huh.
Usually run through the chamber. It's free for people.
Oh my gosh.
So we went and met with a guy there because we'd never bought a business before.
Mm-hmm.
So we also didn't know how to do that. How do you know what people are giving you correct information when you haven't really navigated that part? Obviously I knew about wine. By this point, I had done Traveling Vineyard for 7 years. So I was much beyond the bear stutter home like Zinfandel at that point. So I got to, we went and met with SCORE. Met a great guy there that gave us like some really great business advice. We started working on a business plan. We actually downloaded like a template from online.
Oh, wow.
Like $100 or something, which helps you navigate the business plan in asking you the questions and the structure that you needed to do. Drop in some graphs and things like that.
Wow.
Banks love graphs, like chart graphs. They love that.
Numbers.
So yeah, and mostly your business plan is just what you think is going to happen, just based. So we took about a month and put that together. Went back to the bank, had a meeting. We had a PowerPoint presentation for them. Sat down with the 2 bankers, and they were like nodding their heads. I'm like, they're going to give us the money. People are like, they're not going to give you the money. They're not going to give.
It's a little Shark Tank like.
Like I know. I think it's probably not nearly as intimidating as Shark Tank, but definitely we forged a relationship with that banker that we've had for the last 14 years now since we started.
Cool.
So he's helped us open additional businesses. We have bought coffee shops. We also have 3 olive oil stores that we opened just from scratch ourselves. So now we have quite a few different businesses. We've sold a couple along the way as well.
So you started with the wine shop?
Started with the wine shop.
How long did you have just the wine shop before you branched out?
So the plan, there was this business plan, right?
Yeah, right.
It's a great business plan that we were going to open a second location in 5 years. Well, 6 months into owning the wine and beer store, my husband got laid off from his job.
Oh, dear.
So that was not part of the business plan. The bank, we liked my husband had a full-time job that could support our family. And even though we were expecting the wine and beer store to do, well, like it had been doing, the economy was still kind of iffy. And they also didn't, weren't 100% sure, like, hey, what if these people just totally tank this business? So they stress tested pretty hard just to see, to make sure we could pay for loans and just to make sure we could pay for all of that. Well, when the other person that's supposed to pay for your livelihood loses job, that becomes like a much bigger problem. So instead of, my husband looked for a job for a couple of months. He had a few months at Dever, and it was 2011. So also he was in the 12th round of layoffs. So jobs were not plenty in that time. So we decided to up that 5-year plan and open a second one. So we figured, hey, if we can't find you a job, we'll create you a job.
Wow.
We opened a second location. I worked at one, he worked at the other, and he had to work for about 2 years. Helped, develop that store. The new one I went to work at, I was the only employee for a year and a half. I worked 7 days a week.
Oh, wow.
Okay. For a year and a half. And so we eventually hire someone who could come work half a day on Sunday so I could have half a day off.
Wow.
She started working the whole day on Sunday. Then she started working the whole day Sunday and Monday, and I got 2 days off. Then she became our full-time manager, and then my husband got a job, and I stopped working in that store and went back to the other one. So,
wow. So you sacrificed a lot in that beginning.
Yeah, we did.
Period.
Yeah, we worked a lot. The kids spent a lot of time in the stores. They got off the bus at the store. It became a bus stop. I called the school and asked them if they could.
Oh, gosh.
No, they were passing by the store. Could we just have a bus stop there? So the kids got off after school. We had the back office like set up. So there was a TV back there. They had DirecTV and they had a couch and
Wow.
they had to work in there, do their schoolwork. So, and then they got really used to dusting bottles and things like that in the store, helping out.
Good entrepreneurial skills from a very young age.
They put out a tip jar pretty young. Oh. The other employees thought that was a great idea.
That is a great idea. Oh my gosh. So how old were they at the time when they were getting off the bus?
They were like 7 and 8 or 9. Yeah. Okay. Pretty young. Yeah.
But they saw you and your husband doing the work and saw what it took and that was kind of, I guess, a foray for them to see what it's going to take to be an entrepreneur.
Well, they have painted stores, they have helped build things, they have put things together. They have, did a lot. We kind of incorporated, obviously when you're an entrepreneur or business owner, like your kids are pretty much in tow a lot. And obviously we were very fortunate. We had grandparents that could help out too. Cause
that's great.
Busy summers here in the Outer Banks. I was working 6 days a week in the beginning. So there was just that like one day off. So they were coming to the store a lot. I mean, we had a little puppy. The puppy came to the store. It was a big family event, But they got used to it. My employees like that I had at the time, like really embraced them, helped them. Like, they still have their own clock-ins. They're 21 and 19 now. So Tyler will say he's worked at Chips Wine and Beer since he was 8.
Yes, an integral part.
That's more than the average 21-year-old knows about wine. So.
Yeah. A blessing and a curse.
Exactly. Yeah. He's had some good wine in his day.
Yeah. So fast forward to you had the 2 stores. And then how long before you opened it was olive oil next, right?
Yeah, so it was olive oil next. I think we did that that was like the next year. It was probably 2013. So I had this idea. So craft beer was getting bigger. We wanted to add a tasting room. So we had the space within the store. I thought it would be really great if we expanded on the tasting room, not only had the beer flights and wine and beer on draft and things like that and do the wine tastings, we'd also be able to have olive oil. I thought maybe we'd have sticks. Sticks would be good and people could come in and try and would add to the tasting room experience.
Oh, cool.
I called a supplier and they said, well, what if you just did a whole store? And coincidentally, one of the stores at the end of the shopping center we were in was actually closing. And so I called the landlord, asked what the rent would be, and thus that idea was born. So here we go, back to our bank, right? So I was like 2012, 2013. So it's still not a great economic. We've got the 2 businesses, boom, boom. We've opened back to back. Still things are not, it's not booming. We're working our butts off. We're making money, but it's not, it's enough to kind of keep us in our house, I guess. But just barely. House is underwater. It wasn't great times for anybody. So we went back to that bank and they were like, we're sorry. What you have right now is 2 loans, 2 stores. One's a 10-year and one was a 7-year. So obviously we're not that far into those. So they weren't super comfortable with loaning us any more money. So tracked down another guy at a different bank, another local bank. And I wasn't asking for that much money. I think I asked for $50,000 or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think he gave me 30. And he said, yes, but I need you. This is how we're going to structure it. You're going to have a big, huge payment and you're going to pay off this loan in 1 year.
Oh, wow.
You have big, huge payments for, the months of the summer. So June, July, August, September. I think that's what it was. And then you'll have interest only through the winter. And then 4 more big payments. And boom, done.
Wow.
Yep.
And that was because you're in a resort community, right? Because
we're in a resort town. So main part of, and we're starting to be a little bit more where they've called shoulder seasons, where we're getting more like April and May and September and October. But, and then we get a lot of holiday, but that's like right at Thanksgiving and right at Christmas, New Year's, but not a lot around that. In January and February, even though we've had more people move here lately, so there's not, it's different than it was pre-COVID. We're having many more residents. I think we said 10,000 more residents move here.
Oh, wow. Permanent residents?
Yeah, permanent residents.
Oh, wow. So,
and a lot of people moved here during COVID to work from their beach homes, I guess.
Oh, okay. Why not?
I know. So yeah, that's how it kind of evolved into the first olive oil store. 2 years after that, we opened the second olive oil store. And then 5 years ago, we opened the third olive oil store, which was more of my idea was if I had combined my wine and beer store with the olive oil store and had done that from scratch, what would that look like? And so that's what the third one looks like. So that one is very gourmet experience. We do beer flights, we do cheese plates, we do cigars, wine, beer, whole olive oil, all gourmet foods, things like that.
Wow. Very cool. So how do you, I guess, do you have a favorite? How do you structure
my time?
Yeah.
And I would say, so 2 years ago, so when we opened the olive oil store 5 years ago, I started working there. I was the manager. I hired an assistant manager. I promoted from ships, wine, and beer. I promoted my assistant manager to manager. So everyone was kind of moving up. It was a new ball game for me. I'd had a few businesses at a time before. And I remember telling my husband, we were looking at doing that one. I don't know that I can have another one. And he was like, you can do it. He's just like encouraged to me. And it's kind of like I equate it to when you have, 2 kids, then you have 2 kids, right? You have 2 hands. Okay. You can do 2 kids. 3 kids, the older kids have to start taking care of the younger kids.
You got to go to zone defense. Yeah.
Yeah. So the older stores also have to help take care of the new stores. So I went to the new store to be the manager, had an assistant manager there, started, and I worked in that store for 3 years. I had a business coach at the time. And I remember her saying to me, she said, if you want to keep growing, you have to get out of the store. And I said, I can't get out of the store. At the time, I couldn't imagine not being hands-on, working in the store, having control over all of the pieces, because that's, what an entrepreneur is, right? We're all like you being in charge of all like the different pieces and knowing like what's happening where. So then we were approached to buy these wine shops. And that was like 2 months after the business coach said to me, you got to get out of there.
Oh, gosh.
And we start looking at it and we're like, yeah, this may be a good. And then we knew if this happens, I can't go back. But I couldn't also tell my staff at the time either. So I was like, you guys are fine. I'm just going to go start doing this other stuff. And I just started setting them up so that they would be able to do stuff, whether they didn't know it really or not. I had to put, more structure and more pieces into place. Then ended up promoting the assistant manager to manager.
Wow.
And he had already been there 3 years. So we've had a lot of amazing staff that's been with us for quite some time. And it's always been my goal and my dream to be able to have places for people to grow with us. So as we grow, they can grow as well. So
that's cool. And it sounds like maybe they didn't have the belief in themselves, do you think? For a bit there? Or?
I think they just relied on me a lot.
Yeah.
They were all fantastic employees. And I'm a big proponent of giving people ownership over things too. Like, not, finding out what people's innate talents are. What are they good at? And letting them shine there. We're all not great at everything, right? And that particular store, has the wine, it's got beer, it's got cigars, it's got cheese plates, it's got, we're doing wine tastings. And then we added a coffee bar. Like we have so much going on in that store. There is nobody that I'm going to hire that's going to walk in and know everything or maybe anything. So I really look for, great personalities, people who are upbeat and positive and want to be part of our team and love what we're doing, or at least a part of what we're doing. And then I can teach them the rest. And so as, kind of that motto with the older ones taking care of the newer ones, as people come on board, really super conscious about the culture that we're trying to create at the stores to make sure everyone feels like part of this, weirdly dysfunctional, unique family.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people want. You want to feel part of something.
Yeah.
You definitely want to feel that you're contributing if you are a part. And nobody likes to go to a job where you're just doing something and it really doesn't matter. And literally you could be gone tomorrow and they would just pop somebody else in there doing that same rote job. I love when I actually love it when managers or anybody that's working for me, they tell me that someone came in and thought they were the owner.
Hello, friend. Let's be real. When's the last time you did something just for you? Enter Wine Camp 2026. We're talking wine tastings, fire pit chats, sunset dinner cruises, and 0 cooking required. Just show up, sip something fabulous, and reconnect with the version of you who loves adventure, sisterhood, and a glass of local Riesling in hand. Sweet, dry, or both. No judgment here. We're heading to New York's gorgeous Finger Lakes, July 31st through August 2nd. And yes, it's as dreamy as it sounds. Secure your spot at pennyforyourshots.com/winecamp. Don't wait. Room options are limited. And my crystal ball says we're going to sell out. Bring your besties or fly solo like the fabulous free spirit you are. You'll leave with new favorites either way. Wine Camp 2026 is calling. The only question is, are you in? Find out more at pennyforyourshots.com/winecamp.
I think that is the biggest compliment to them. I just think it's the biggest compliment to the store that they had such a great experience. They thought you owned this store. Like that, to me, that's huge. Yeah.
That's big. Yeah. You mentioned coffee.
Yes.
How'd you get into coffee?
Oh gosh. So the first wine and beer store next door was a little great coffee shop called Purple Cafe. And they opened in 1999. I've been there all the time. I was obviously a very good customer, having to get through those long weeks and those long days. And I think by 2:00 every day, I was running over. During COVID, they were closing early and they would have to run over and be like, Laura, we're about to close. It was like a devastating vibe because I was still going to be there till like 9 or 8 o'clock. So we were approached. We were pretty friendly. We knew, the managers there. We knew a lot of the employees and the owners of that coffee shop. When we opened the Olive Oil store in the outlets in Nag's Head, I was approached by the outlets to see if we would add a coffee bar to our bar that we had. We do draft beer, wine flights, beer flights, cheese plates. Would we add coffee? And they really wanted coffee there. So I said, yeah, I'm going to look at this. So I contacted the people next door to us and I said, hey, would you help me put this coffee bar in? And he said, yeah, sure. You got to do this. This is electrical stuff you got to do. This is plumbing things you got to do. So I just got on it, got it done, and then told him, and he came in and we got set up with coffee. So that's how we got even closer to the owners of the previous owners of From Porch Cafe. So got that coffee shop running. And so that was running for a couple of years before that they contacted us. Wanted to have a meeting and ask us if we were interested in purchasing their coffee shops. They were ready to retire. So, they'd had their coffee shops for 20 years. And we looked at it as great business. We are proud to say we've increased the sales by 30%.
Wow, that's great. Since when? When did you buy it?
Well, it's been a little bit over 2 years. So July 2021. Wow. So just utilizing the things I've learned. I mean, everything's a lesson, right?
Yeah.
Learn just so much through the course. And I made many, many mistakes and lots of errors. And you're like, oh, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to say it like that again. Lots of staffing issues and mistakes and things I've learned along the way. So I took a lot of what I had and just saw some of the things that I thought that could improve. They had great employees like we did. One store had a little bit of some problematic. So we're able to like listen to the staff and see who, might need to be get rid of, who is kind of toxic to the culture that you want to create. And how can we create a place that customers come in and they feel like this is a great place to be. This is a place that I want to sit and work or drink my coffee or come every morning because the staff seems like they really love their job and they want to be here. So it was a work in progress. We changed the POS system pretty quickly, streamlined some of their delivery system based on some of the things I was already doing with multiple stores that I felt like was kind of clunky. We added an app that was personalized to the store.
Wow.
We're using an app that they started during COVID, but that company, it was kind of like not DoorDash, but how DoorDash takes like such a huge percentage. This is what was happening with their current app. So we added the app. We redid the entire website.
Wow.
Yeah. So this was huge because like I was doing all my own marketing too. Had a marketing person. So I have a marketing director, does all of the online social media, all of our emails, like all of that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a lot of them too. It sounded like the coffee shop, first of all, the people next door gave you step by step what they would recommend to open your store in the outlets. Or add coffee to your store?
When I said, so they were instrumental in helping us get the coffee bar set up there. So hooked us up with, their vendors that they worked with that delivered their syrups and got me hooked up with what kind of espresso machine. And he hooked up the water filter for us.
Wow.
Gave me a list of supplies. You order these on Amazon. You need phones and not a ton of stuff, but I kind of feel like that was test number one. Like he was like, because he didn't expect me to get it done so quickly. You have to run plumbing, different plumbing and electrical so that you can, like an espresso machine and things like that. So, but yeah, so then we had to get, I think he loaned us a grinder too. Yeah, just kind of gave us a list of equipment. So just kind of essentially just setting this up with like a little mini coffee shop. Here's what you do and here's how you do it.
Wow.
And so within a month, we had that set up and ready and going. So yeah. And he came in and trained us and taught all my staff how to be baristas.
Nice.
So you're a little bit of everything. You're like you can pour wine and beer and do a wine tasting and be a barista and, a little bit of everything.
Wow. Yeah. Because where would you start? I mean, a brand new opportunity like that, where would you even know how to start if you didn't have an expert with you?
Yeah, no, you definitely need somebody guiding you. And I think that has been like so instrumental. Like you hear constantly people starting businesses, right? What's the fail rate, right?
Right. So scary.
I think there's a couple of things. Like I think you need to be the kind of person who's not willing to fail. I mean, obviously you can fail. Like we've all failed. I mean, I've failed at many different things, but like if you're going to fail, you got to go down swinging. I think COVID was a really good example of that because I think you saw people freeze, I have this business plan and like, this is not what's happening right now. You got thrown a curveball. So it was like, figure it out. Like, you're not going to get to do that business plan. You're not going to get to do what you want to do. You might have to close. You might have to like, what can you do with what you've got? And I remember that moment when we had to, we got shut down. The outlets shut us down, closed the bridge. No one could come here. Like it was pretty devastating. And I think, I'll admit there was a 2-day pity party. But my husband said, snap out of it. I was like, you're right. Okay. Well, what do we do? If stuff is happening and it's bad and you can't control it, what can you control? Like you can do what you can do. So I had never done a Facebook Live before, ever. I didn't even know how to do a Facebook Live. I had one of my younger staff people show me or something. And then I started walking around the store. I thought, well, gosh, if people can't come here, let me just start showing them. But what can I do? And that pivoted to us doing the wine tastings weekly and the happy hours. I was shipping people wine. They were doing wine tastings with us at home. We started doing a massive amount of online business for the olive oil store. And I was just kind of keeping people updated through emails and social media as to like what was going on, because people were very vested in what was happening here and to their favorite businesses, and people wanted to help. I had people purchase gift certificates and things like that they were planning to use like much later, just to keep us afloat. And we did more sales online in the olive oil store that month than we would have done in the store had we been open.
Wow.
So that was huge. So as soon as we did open, the Outer Banks was very fortunate because the people came back in droves. You could kind of distance here. It could be in the beach house. You could sit on the beach, not necessarily be around.
Uh-huh.
It didn't hit this community as hard as it hit other places. But you saw, I even saw some businesses here just kind of stop, and they were like, we'll just wait. And I'm like, you can't wait. What's going to happen? And then you saw some businesses put a to-go window. They were just like, what can we do and how can we be open? How can we still have a business? But that's what I said. I said, if I'm going down swinging. I'm right, and I'm going to do these Facebook Lives. And people probably didn't know, but I was so a nervous wreck to do the videos, being on camera. It's very intimidating what people perceive about you and what you're saying. And you're after we would get off, we were like, how many people were watching us? Did they like it? It was still nerve wracking. We would prepare all day for these cooking shows we were doing, wine tastings, and people really did love them. I think it was great to hear people say that even though during that time was such a dark time and it wasn't a happy time for people being locked up, that they were like, that was the highlight of my week, which I felt kind of sad that was the highlight. But that also I could do something that brought some semblance of hope or something to look forward to, some little bit of joy. And people did feel connected that they were doing something that was helping a small business. And they really did. And they really did. For sure.
I remember those. I remember your lives. They were so fun.
I know. Well, I think we started to lose our mind a little bit in the middle.
It brought people together, though. It was just this community. You felt like you were part of it. And even though we weren't able to be together personally, we could still share a fun evening and talk about wine and taste it with you while you were tasting there. So it felt like a community.
Yeah, I was we definitely all didn't become less wine drinkers.
No.
During that time. But we did a wine and chocolate one. I know we did a blind wine tasting.
Mm-hmm.
I would spend, a good portion prepping for these tastings during the week and get everything shipped out, making sure that everything's going to arrive. Just a nervous wreck that, broken bottles, or for the blind tasting, we would bag everything up and number the bottles so people couldn't see them when they were getting, it was fun to try to come up with something new that would at least be something people could look forward to. And it was fun. We've done a couple more since then, some holiday ones and things like that. And we did the cooking ones we were doing once a week for a while. But as we've gotten bigger with the coffee shops, I just don't have, my time is allocated differently, and I don't have the time to be I don't work in the stores anymore. Well, actually, a couple of weeks ago, I did work in the stores. Not a regular plan. We had an emergency with one of the employees, and it was not a planned thing. Those things happen sometimes.
You never forget the ropes.
No, I know. And I enjoy working in the stores too. I really love it. And I think it's not a bad idea to get back into your business and see what's going on or what's happening from that perspective all the time because I'm not always in it. But it reminds you too, like what people are going through. I've been managed and I've worked for other people and I know what that feels like.
Mm-hmm.
So just trying to put myself in that position. So sometimes it's like, it's a lot of hats, as a business owner, your own admin, I used to be my own marketing person. and so sometimes when you're trying to do it all, you're not doing it all well. So to bring in, talented people or people that can help you and assist you is, another kind of like next level thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm much more in a corporate, I guess, ownership role as an owner than necessarily like a manager. Although I still feel like I'm guiding some of my managers to be better managers.
So is there anything you would do differently throughout the whole process?
Wow. I don't think so, because I feel like regardless of the path that you learned so many lessons. And oftentimes people just see the end. They're like, oh, you've got all these businesses, you're really successful now. And even if they did see, they might not remember. I remember like, the hard times, the sleepless nights, the racked up credit card debt that I don't have anymore. But the things that you did to get what you wanted. So not only did we, when we were trying to get the first business with the first loan, we cleaned out our 401k to put that money down too.
Oh, wow.
So, that's a huge risk. And I remember
all in.
Yes, all in. Like, right? There is no fail, right? Like,
right.
But then people asked me, I think someone asked me in the beginning, like, aren't you afraid? And I was like, I was more excited, but I was like, no, should I be? Because I was like, I already don't have anything. Like, I'd probably be more afraid now because there's way more to lose. But at that point, I don't really have anything to lose. I thought, and I've always been kind of the mindset, just get more money. Like, money is not a finite thing. This is not the only amount of money that you're going to have in your life. And you only can spend it this way. And then you ran out. You see it a lot with, like, I think business owners, even ones that fail multiple times. They could become millionaires and then fail, like lose everything, become millionaires again. It's because they know they can. They've done it before. And if it's possible for somebody else, it's possible for you too.
Yeah. And, do you hate that question? I hate that question.
Were you afraid?
Yeah.
It was shocking because what I have found, because we are trying to franchise our coffee shops, I have found a lot of people act out of fear.
Yeah, exactly.
I've talked to a lot of potential people that would love to have their own business, but they're afraid.
Mm-hmm. And the question to you, are you afraid? It almost projects their fear.
That's why I think I was like, yeah, I'm cleaning out my 401k. You know what? We've rebuilt it up. It has way more money in it. I have way more stuff. Like, I have way more because I invested in myself. So is that the best plan for everyone? Not necessarily. But we sold that second coffee shop the second wine and beer store that we opened. So we don't own that one anymore. I actually sold it to one of my employees after we had it for 6 years. So now he's had it for another 5.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's 2011. So he bought it 6 years after we did, and he's had it. So I was so proud of him when he texted me. It was like 2 years ago, and he was like, just paid my last loan payment. So
cool.
I was really proud of him. But, with that store, I never knew, you're all in so many ways. And we had so much debt at that time, owing on 2 stores. Our house isn't worth anything. We've cleaned out our 401k. And I don't think that's necessarily the path for everyone, but that was literally the only money we had. So if we wanted to do it, that was the option that we had. And so now, then you just go and you keep building up and you keep building up. But I would say the first, 6 years was like the hardest. Like, it wasn't easy. And even though people see the end result, right now, I'm like 13 years in, everything is very different. We have a lot of different businesses and things like that going. But it's not, not a clear, easy path.
No.
Well, work, and work really, really hard. I feel like I work now hard, but in a different, my life is just very different now than it was.
Yeah. So what brings you joy? What do you look forward to every day? Or what about your career is really exciting to you?
So I love seeing people grow. Not only myself, I see myself grow, but I love seeing my staff, people who've worked for me grow. I love seeing them grow into new roles. I love seeing them gain more confidence. I love seeing them learn new things and be so proud of themselves. And I've seen this in many, many different managers and even in just employees who gain more confidence. When you look at them and they're asking you well, I know what you would do, but what, they're asking me you know what to do. You have been doing this, you know what to do. And you also know what I'm going to say. As if you work for me, you know what I'm going to say. But I think that's what brings me the most joy. Seeing people love to do what they do. And I've always said it. I'm if this is not a hostage situation, if you don't want to work here, you don't have to. I would much rather you not. If this doesn't bring you happiness and joy, also, you should not spend all of your waking time doing something that makes you miserable.
Amen. Isn't that the truth? So I want to shift a little bit and talk about experiences with wine and friends. Do you have a glass in front of you?
Well, it's a coffee mug. Because it's all noon.
I know, but I came prepared.
I figured you would. I was like, can I get some wine? This is Penny.
Exactly. We have to talk about some of the fun times we've had,
we have had some really fun times. So I've known Penny since 2006, I think?
Six or seven, yeah.
A really long time doing Traveling Vineyard. I was 27. So that's been, a long time ago. A long time ago.
It was a minute.
We've been on several trips together, earned incentive trips with Traveling Vineyard and traveled to different places and really just had such a good time. I mean, wine just does bring people together.
It does, for sure. So what's your favorite wine?
Gosh. Bill makes me drink a lot of Zin.
That's his favorite.
I'm champagne all the way.
Oh, I love bubbles.
My friend right now is in Champagne, France, and I'm so jealous. And she keeps sending me all these pictures. She's there for her birthday right now. So, I'm so jealous.
We've got to put that on our list.
So, when we went to Paris, we did take a day trip over to Epernay and went to Moed and some other little champagne houses. Because you take the train in for the day. It's a quick, hour and 20 minutes or something, hour and 30 minutes. And then just back to Paris all in the same day. You can do lunch and tour these little champagne houses and went to Dom Perignon is stored. And, it was such a blast. That was such a blast. I got to go to Italy with Traveling Vineyard. I've been to Napa, I don't know how many times. Getting ready to take my managers to Napa. In about a month, we are going to an olive oil summit and had them treating them. We're going to spend 50 minutes away from Napa. So go spend a couple of days in Napa, do some wine tastings. So they get to have a little education, a little fun at this time and just get spoiled a little bit. They deserve it.
So fun.
Yeah. Now people want to work for me. No.
Yeah. For sure. So do you have any tours planned for Napa or what?
Yeah, we're going to go to Duckhorn.
Nice.
Honig and Camus.
Oh, lovely.
So, I've only been to Honig before, but they're a small family-owned area, so they're super excited that we're coming.
Nice. Are any of those wines that you feature in your store?
All of them. So, yeah. So that was really important to me to make sure. I wanted them to have the winery vineyard experience, we get so many reps that come into the store all the time to taste us on different wines. Like, but they get to try a lot of different things, which is, I think, the best way to learn about wine. You and I have both taken the CSW and learned and studied and reading the books and studying the maps and all that stuff.
Yeah.
One thing, but experiencing it is a total another thing. Like, you really need to be able to taste wine to like learn about the areas and the grapes and the regions and kind of what that's really about. So
for sure,
that was like that kind of is the great part about when the reps come in, because you're getting to taste so many things that you might never get to taste, because could be very expensive little hobby for you to learn about wine.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like if you are learning, let's just say Cabernet, if you have 4 or 5 different Cabernets in front of you, that's when you really learn what the grape is all about.
Yes.
And the different regions, how they influence.
We used to do this event, and we haven't done it in a few years, but we have this big weekend called Taste of the Beach, and it kind of got derailed with COVID, but we'd have like a bunch of different events, and we do this one event called Which Cab is Fab? Oh. And it's a blind tasting, all Cabernets. And we would, everything from something like, we did black box, and I would decant it to try to trick $100 and some bottles, right? But you never knew. They're like, she's trying to trick us. Then we have 79. There'd be like some stuff in there, 40, but 50, 60. It was kind of like the whole range. So you would taste them all, try to guess like how much they were, what regions they were from, and the whole room is like participating at once. And obviously that gets a little boisterous towards the end. But it would be the most fun event. Like that, I'm not sure you could be really telling the difference by the time you've tasted the 10th cab, but
no spitting.
It's a lot of fun,
Does sound like fun. Well, any other experiences you want to share or fun insights?
I don't know. I have so much in my brain all the time. That's why I need to take the vacations. That is another thing that I like. Travel is like my number one. Like, I will work very, very, very hard so I can travel. I feel like those experiences, creativity have always been great for my business too, because you go different places and you see different things, or you maybe see in a different way, or you go into a different store and like, you're like, oh, that was a really good idea, or a really good way they presented it, or, just kind of like even the olive oil store, the first one I went into was in Napa. And that's when I was like, this is kind of cool. Like,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, this is really kind of cool. Like, they did a bunch of other stuff. I like soaps and a bunch of other things. It wasn't exactly like ours, but the concept was somewhat similar, which I think was probably like, started probably out in California is because they had so much there. But it was a very new concept for us. I remember when I first was going to open the olive oil store, people told me it was stupid.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. They were like, people, I taste that doesn't sound good. I'm like, no, that's weird, or that's dumb. I think dumb was the word.
Oh, wow.
Used.
Do not mock what you do not know.
I know. I just thought like, well, that person was not my customer. Or they just haven't experienced it yet.
Right.
We don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Like, I think when you experience something, and too, that's my main focus at the stores is for you to have an experience. Kind of like Rio, like doing the Traveling Vineyard tastings, like it's an experience. People can go and buy whatever, wherever they want to, but can you walk away feeling like you got more than you expected?
Right. Right. And like you're part of something.
Yeah, like you came there to taste wine, but like then you walked away and you were like, oh my gosh, now I have some friends. And now I've like, and I learned something, but it was fun. I don't like it when they make wine tasting not fun.
How is that possible?
Been to some of those wine classes where they're like, it's like, well, and I'm like, can you just give me some wine?
Yeah. Yeah, and you should have some too.
I'm talking about the soil,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How do you make wine not fun? That's how.
That's how. Just give me wine and then I will listen to whatever you want to talk about for terrible.
Yeah.
You tell me all about it.
Yeah, I want to learn about it, but let's keep it fun.
Yeah, I definitely still did wine tastings when I was taking all those CSW classes. I just definitely like wine the whole time.
For sure. For sure. Well, I want to have you on again and talk about your travels too. That can be a whole episode by itself.
Oh, definitely. Yes. I need to get some more places on the list.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. And even talk about how you do it, like how you structure it so it's affordable and how you use your points. And that sort of thing.
I would love to share that. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of people who would love to learn.
I think that's something that anybody can do. And I've tried to bring in some people that I know because it can make your travel so much more affordable. And people can go places and see things and have more elevated experiences than they would afford normally.
Nice.
So, or you can travel and do more travel. Like you want to budget travel, you can just use all that stuff and go way more places. I'm going to go between class, first class. Like I'm going to do it up. I've been in economy seats.
That's true. And it's, once you are not in economy anymore, it's very hard to go back.
It's real hard to go back. I'm going to admit, I haven't sat in the back of a plane for a couple it doesn't suck.
Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of people who want to know how you do that. So we'll definitely do that.
Okay, yeah, that'll be fun. I'll love to share.
Super. Well, Laura, thank you so much. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you, Penny. Well, hopefully you got something you can work with there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are looking for how do you do it. And
yeah, I mean, there's lots of different paths, but I think like determination and just stick-to-itiveness and belief in yourself is the number one thing.
Yeah.
And then seek out support if you can. Look for all like that score, look for all the like those different organizations or other people that you can pick their brain and they can help you, like a ton of people. There's a lot of knowledge out there. So yeah, just you have to kind of seek it out.
That's awesome. I'll put that in the show notes too, that how you reached out to SCORE and some of the resources
that was funny. My baker actually said, he said he had talked to many, many people because there was several people over the past year he had talked to about purchasing that wine and beer store. And he said he had told everyone the same thing. Go talk to SCORE, do the 5-year projections, get the business plan. And he said, we were the only ones that went to SCORE.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah. And he said, so I think to them, that was like, these people will do what's necessary.
What's needed. Yeah.
Yeah. Like these are the type of people. And whether you get anything out of it, I think you can just because it's business people, it's retired business people that are donating their time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And they have a website and a Facebook page. They're probably, ours was organized through the chamber, but you don't have to be a member of the chamber to go. They just, there, but I think we actually got hooked up with the business broker that helped us like navigate the sale and stuff like that too. Wow. So that was really good. But we met some other frogs along the way too.
Yeah. But yeah, well, there's a lesson too, right? You get advice, take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when it's free.
Especially when it's free, because there's people who have, and even if they haven't done the exact same thing that you're doing, they've got some level of perspective, or they know people that they could put you in touch with.
Exactly.
Too. So that's been really instrumental, I think, for us in kind of like growing. As we get into new places, it's becoming more difficult to like navigate to get to the people that I think that could help more, as we've gone up the ladder. So we do have a few mentors and things like that that we can bounce ideas off of. But
yeah, it takes a village.
Yes, it does. Yeah. And my husband's, while I run all the stores and he works, he's back to working full time versus full-time job. He says he just does what I tell him to do, but like here's the thing. So, if I need a PowerPoint or spreadsheet, Phil is on it. He does a lot of while I do all the QuickBooks and the financial stuff, although I do have a bookkeeper as well. I still have I do a lot. Yeah. And that's one thing I'm working on, giving up a little giving up a little control, that's hard for me. But he does a lot of stuff with the roasters. And there's things that he's really, really interested in too. He knows all the computer systems. I'm like, the computer's working. But we're now hooked up with a company that we can call and, they can do a bunch of stuff so they can go out to the store if we're out of town or we're not here to be able to fix things if they're not working, because you definitely don't want to be down to not be able to transaction. It's all a work in progress. It's always learning and things that I've learned across time, and Phil too. But he's a huge part of the business, even though he doesn't do it full time.
Yeah. And his background is IT, right?
No, he does like IT management. So not necessarily fix your computer, even though he knows how to. His more of like management, which he's given me a lot of advice as I've come up. But like when I first started, I couldn't even fire someone. I couldn't. I made him do it. Like I couldn't do it. I've definitely fired a lot of people. Not that I'm like super proud of that, but I've learned how to, separate that a little bit. And I feel like half the time I've been to fire someone, they're offering to help me if I need someone to work. That's, I guess, the best is if you can leave, like, it's no hard feelings. This just didn't work out. It has to be a fit for you and it has to be a good fit for us. It's a two-way street. I want people to be happy, but I also need them to be good employees. And if they're, kind of dropping the ball, that's my one thing. I'm like, don't drop the ball on my other employees. You start creating more work for my other employees. I get very protective of them with people wasting their time.
Don't let somebody else down.
Yeah. If you're late and you can't be on time and you're flaky or, you can be sorry all you want. Just be here. Like, that somebody else's life is now being affected because people don't see you call out. It's not like it's an office job and no one does your job. Someone else has to come in. Like, otherwise, why did we have you on the schedule anyway? If I can do without you, then I can do without you. Right. So I've had to make hard decisions. I've found out people were stealing from me that were very close to me. The people that I genuinely cared about and people that have worked for me for a while. Things that could make me jaded, but I tried to not let them. I still see the best in people and help when I can. And if this is a position for them that can get them to somewhere else. And I've also had great employees that went on to do other things, right? They've outgrown us, and that's okay. That's okay too. I want the best for people.
Yeah. One went on to own one of your stores.
One went on to own one of my stores. Yeah. Another went on to own her own business. And she was Spanish. She worked for us for a couple of months. Actually, two of them have got them to own their own business. Both of them worked for us for a couple of years, and I'm still close friends with all of them. I really have like amazing. I don't know if I'm just really good at picking people. No, but I've definitely had some bad ones. So I've learned my lessons on those. Anytime out of desperation. You need somebody, do not be surprised when it comes and bites you in the butt. You're like, I don't even like this person. And then, but I need the body. And then they're just disappointing all around. And I think I have high expectations of people. Like, I expect you to be great. Like, whether you're just like, checking people out, or if you want to learn more about wine, more about beer, the opportunity is there for you. So I've definitely, this past year, I've had two of my assistant managers be promoted to manager. So they both have grown, are doing amazing and learning new and navigating new things, because now you've got to deal, you're almost like the second level to me. So you're dealing with some of the same problems, almost trying to keep them away from me, of staff, and trying to learn how to say things, because everyone's got their own stuff. Right.
That's okay. We don't censor on this podcast.
Everyone's their own stuff going on. But we have to be empathetic to that, right? Like, we all got families, we've all got lives, but you spend a lot of time at work. So it's an enjoyable place to be, and we want you to feel supported.
Yes.
So, Wait Street. You give to us
each other.
Yeah, for sure. Because we're really pushing the franchise stuff now. That's pretty much where I'm trying to put focus, it's almost like that needs to be a full-time job. So that's where I'm really navigating right now to try to figure out how's that path go.
Gosh,
right?
we didn't even talk about that.
No.
Let me ask you about that. So franchising, you mentioned that you're thinking of or you're working towards that?
We've gotten 2 of our trademarks. That took like a year and a half. Wow.
Wow. So what's your vision for this? What are you hoping to achieve?
Yeah. So I won't tell you the big things.
Yeah.
It's a 10-year plan. But, first of all, I would probably, although we're having requests from outside of Virginia and North Carolina, I would, if I was doing it myself, I would grow organically out from our stores. Although we're getting requests from other places, Pennsylvania and Georgia and other states as well. But I definitely want to see more from purchase. I think what we do in the coffee space is just very unique. I think people probably don't, and maybe it's not as easily seen. And that's why I think I have a lot of work to do to kind of put this into a perspective for people. Because I'm part of some coffee shop owners groups and things like that. I see, right, like you said, how can you open a coffee shop? Well, people could just be like, okay, I'm just going to open a coffee shop. And let's say people never worked in a coffee shop, don't even know how to make a coffee. They're asking questions like basic questions. I'm like, this is doomed. Like doomed. But coming from wine and beer, wine and beer has such small margins. So you really have to be efficient in running a business. So I think where coffee has a little bit more of a leeway, they have better margin, you could be less efficient. I think for a lot of people, they're serving really bad coffee, just really, really bad coffee, but they don't get all the other pieces of it. They don't get it's the vibe. It's how you feel. Come in. It's everything from the music to the colors to the layout. It's the sociology and psychology of being in business that people also don't understand. And then there's all the books, right? There's not wasting a single freaking cent. You need to know what everything costs. And can you get it cheaper somewhere else? And constantly evaluating that. Until you have more where you can make bigger mistakes, you have one store, you better be on top of every single thing. And recently, a lot of costs have gone skyrocketed. If you're not paying attention, those little bags that you used to buy, everything in the past couple of years went up. We started noticing shipping costs going up on our coffee beans exponentially. I'm like, no. This is not a situation of it being more to ship, something's going on. And so we dug in, we actually fired the company we were using. That was a broker. They were tacking on all of these different fees. Yeah. So we skipped them, went direct, got a new thing again, got our stop locked in. But, these are kind of things where you just might not know. You might like, that's just the way it is. You have to ask a lot of questions and be willing to sometimes make hard decisions, right? Can you afford, I don't know, that payroll, those people, that person? I've definitely not been able to hire some people that I've wanted to hire, because I could afford them. Would they have been fantastic? Yes. And that was always my goal. Let me get to the place where I can afford them. And that's probably what's the important thing. Just know all the aspects of your business. I guess from doing it all, you can, but things are constantly changing. So we definitely are, focused on adding more front porches, whether we do it ourselves. We are actively looking right now to even open our own. Another one, I have a couple of spots that I've wanted to be that's just not the right location yet. We need, you need the right location too. Yeah. Location is the biggest, I think, thing for a business. People often discount because sometimes really good spots are very expensive.
Oh.
A lot of people are like, I'll pay for this cheap spot. Well, it might be cheap because you've got no foot traffic, you've got no visual, you're going to have no business. So it doesn't matter that it's cheap if you don't have any customers. I'd rather spend a lot of money for rent than I'm going to get a lot of customers. At least then I have a chance, right? Then it's feel like customers and people, whether you're opening a restaurant or opening or whatever, people get excited about a new business. They come in and they will come in the first time, but you got one chance.
One chance.
One chance. People rarely give multiple chances. That you don't go in there and have an exceptional experience. Exceptional. I'm not talking about like a fine experience. Like, oh, okay, that was good. You need to have an exceptional experience so you'll keep coming back. So then it can just be fine after that. And I'm like, you got to have an exception. You got to blow people out of the water, pretty much.
Wow.
So that they'll tell people.
And worse yet, if it's a bad experience, they're going to tell a lot of people.
Yeah. People, I find this a lot on, reviews, right? People are very much more likely to, send a bad review. Like they had just such a worse, everyone needs to know about this. Like that just the regular fine experiences, they don't often, post about or share. They're like, yeah, just went into this like restaurant and it was just, everything was fine. There was nothing wrong. There was nothing great. It was just good. But if you have this exceptional experience where you're like, oh my gosh, that server was so great, you're going to mention it. Whether you write a whole review about it or not is another thing, but you likely will remember it. You'll maybe potentially excited to go back there. So I want people to come into my businesses and get more than they expect. And so that's what I want out of the coffee shop. Our coffee shop, I feel like gives you more than you expect.
That's amazing.
Not just coffee, but it's vibe. You want to be there, like the people are nice. Even the customers are nice to you, And to top it off, we have really, really good coffee.
Oh, by the way.
There's a lot of really bad coffee out there. Believe me, I travel enough. I've gone to a lot of coffee shops. I like ruined now. It's really bad. I can't even go anyplace else. And every time I do have bad, I want to tell them that we roast coffee and we could sell it wholesale to them. I know we do have a great wholesale business too. So we do sell to a lot of restaurants and other coffee shops serve our coffee too.
Oh gosh. Wow, that's so cool. A lot of this stuff I had not known yet.
Yeah. So that's our focus now is, expand the front porch cafe footprint. So I kind of envision, we're on the beach, we're on the coast, right? But I kind of envision there's a front porch downtown. There's a front porch in the mountains. There's a front porch at your college. There's a front porch, it's a place that friends get together.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. They can have wine too, but it'll be next door at Chips.
Yeah. We all need that. Coffee in the morning and afternoon.
Exactly. I was like, right up. They were like, you have all the beverages on the beach. Like I have all of the stuff. I've got it all covered now.
All of it. Yeah, I love that. That's my kind of thing. Everybody's
kind of thing. We'll to wine here pretty shortly for you, Penny.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I've was ready to say a toast. So.
I love a good Sauvignon Blanc as well. Like that's kind of my go-to, like summer. I think I'm going to get away from rosé now. It's like out of my rosé time. It's starting to get cooler.
Yeah. So what style of Sauvignon Blanc do you prefer?
I think California, although so if I'm going to go French, it's just got to be like high end, like Sancerre. But I love California. I'm not as much like a New Zealand.
Really?
South Africa Sauvignon Blanc band. Although when we were in Africa, we had a bunch of Sauvignon Blanc. I think we had more Chenin Blanc actually when we were in Africa. But lots of good wine there. Lots of brands I recognize. I think it would be interesting to go to South Africa because then you could see some of the smaller places because where we were, they were serving like much more of the big brands. So they were a lot of the brands that I recognize that get imported into the United States.
Okay. Which country were you in?
We went to Kenya first and then Tanzania. We went to safari and stuff, but like a couple of the places we stayed at a coffee lodge there where they grow their own coffee. And the general manager there I think he was from the United States, but he knew so much about wine. And so they had this fantastic restaurant there. And he's like showing us like the wine cellar that they had. Yeah, that was pretty fun. So he knew distributors and things like that from the United States. So,
what a great experience!
They're very much into their wine and their coffee. We get fantastic coffee too from Africa. So,
nice. Well, okay. So on our next time together, we'll talk about all the travels and how to do it.
Yes, I'll make some notes.
Oh, excellent. And we'll have a glass together next time too.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do it.
Well, good. Well, thank you again so much for joining me and helping me get started with the podcast and being my very first episode.
Congratulations. I can't wait to listen.
Yes, with a cocktail. Very good.
That's a wrap on another spirited episode of Penny for Your Shots, conversations and cocktails with brilliant women. I hope you've enjoyed the intoxicating blend of wisdom, wit, and wonder that these incredible women bring to the table. Check out the show notes for links to resources referenced in today's episode. And remember to subscribe and raise a glass with me every Thirsty Thursday as we continue to serve up inspiration, celebrate resilience, and reignite the passions that set our souls on fire. If you've loved what you've heard, please share the podcast far and wide and leave a sparkling 5-star review to let me know your thoughts. It would also help tremendously if you would visit pennyforyourshots.com and subscribe to learn when new episodes are available and pick up my free recipe. In the meantime, remember that your story deserves to be served and savored. Cheers to your brilliance and of women everywhere. Until next time, keep sipping and experiencing life's extraordinary moments. This is Penny for Your Shots, signing off with a clink and a toast to us. Cheers.